Okay, and welcome to part 4 of porting the Elemental Shields to Sonic 1. So in the last part, we freed up some VRAM so that we can move on to this part, where we'll be porting the Elemental Shield objects over, along with their graphics. The main point of the objects is to handle graphics, animations, and the such. So these two tasks are one and the same. So to begin, I think we'll start with the Fire Shield object. Not the simplest one, but it's the most boring shield. So I might as well get it out of the way. Now, if I remember right, these objects are thoroughly documented, so no need to figure out what the heck the code does. You're welcome. I think I did that back in, 2015, 16? Anyway, let's just check for Fire Shield. Hey, what a guess. Okay. As you can see, there's a bit of stuff to do. Because yeah, we have to not only copy paste this, of course, but convert it to Sonic 1, which works a bit differently. Like, let's do a quick rundown, shall we? Like, this needs to be different. This needs to be different. This might need to be different because Sonic 1 doesn't have 2-player. This needs to go. Yeah, I don't think these constants exist in the Sonic 1 disassembly, so they'll have to go. This needs changing, this needs porting, that needs changing to match. That needs changing. And that needs removing because we don't have the Insta-Shield. Okay, well, yeah, let's get on with it. So again, we're just going to follow the example set by Sonic 1's disassembly, so we're going to give this its own file. Oopsie daisy, didn't mean to do that. What's debug mode doing there? Weird. And before we edit anything, let's just hook it into the main ASM file. As you can see, there it includes for objects all over the place. So let's just go to the bottom. Yeah, I guess this will be a good way to find out where these things end. Yeah, there we go. So debug mode is the very end, and it would appear the HUD is the final object in the game's code. Okay, so now, of course, if we build, we are going to get so many errors. Look at that, 4 kilobytes. Doesn't really look like 4 kilobytes to me, but okay. So yeah, we have a lot of bad stuff here. So let's just for now, let's just sort out mismatching variables and stuff and dummy these out, I suppose. So we don't have Map Fire Shield, DPLC, or the art. We do not have height pixels in Sonic 1. Let's leave that. It needs changing, but it should assemble. Okay, these, that needs to go away. We don't have that macro. Change that to vPlayer, that's what it's called in Sonic 1. Let's quickly convert this. I think it was, what, vinvin, I think. Ah, sorry, I ain't guessing these things. Aha. We absolutely do not need any of that. To be fair, these could be in Sonic 1, but I don't really know or want to hunt them down. Okay, really? Like, come on. It's just 8,000. No need to get so elaborate. I think in Sonic 1 it's just called that, so we don't have to do much work there. That has to go away for now. This has to go away. This is display sprite, I believe. Okay, we've got to get rid of that. And we don't have that right now. Let's just get rid of that for now. None of that and none of that. Does it now assemble? Huh. That's interesting. Parent is a thing in Sonic 2, and we do have Sonic 2 style SSTs right here. You'd think Parent would be in here. I guess Sonic 1 doesn't have anything like that. Oh well, it's not really, it's not very important. We can just do it on our own. Like I say, every object has like free room in its SSTs. Like if we come here, you can see it ends at 30, even though object RAM is actually 40 bytes long. This is all in hexadecimal, mind you. So we do have 10 in hexadecimal bytes of room to do whatever we want. So we can implement our own parent. We're just going to set it to 3E. I doubt that's being used by anything. Now, is there any other places where it's used? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright, that was the only error. So, cool. Okay, we have it assembling, sorry. Now we just need to make it work. There is a lot of stuff in here. A lot of stuff that ain't working right now. But as you can see, it really doesn't do much of anything. It like initializes itself, it's some rendering properties. It changes what code runs. Monitors the parent object to see what animation they're playing, checks if they're underwater and destroys itself, follows the player. Inherits the status, yeah, flips horizontally to match the player. Inherits the parent's high priority flag, so it draws over everything as opposed to sometimes being behind everything. Changes its animation frame, its layering. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of what it does is purely visual. Alright, back. So, yeah, all it does is follow the player, copy them, and blows itself up if you go underwater. But the stuff we've removed, well, initializing the sprite mapping data, dynamic art loading script, where its uncompressed graphics are, This might look a little familiar to you from the last part. As I explained in the last episode, what the Sonic 3 elemental shields do is different to what we did for the Sonic 1 shield. Because the Sonic 1 shield, on initialization, loaded all of its graphics into VRAM, and then just treat it like normal, like it was already there. Sonic 3 does things a bit different. The shields, every time they display a different sprite, a different frame of animation, it will actually stream those graphics to VRAM just for that frame. So rather than loading all of the graphics for the shield, it will just load whatever's currently being displayed. It does sound like a waste of processing power, but the Mega Drive is quite limited in VRAM. In fact, if you're familiar with the Mega Drive's graphics chip, the VDP, and I suppose the hardware of the Mega Drive, like the circuitry in general, you'll know it was meant to have double the VRAM originally. There are unused features like switching to a different VRAM bank, but there is no second VRAM bank, so we're stuck with half the VRAM the Mega Drive was meant to have, supposedly. So yeah, VRAM is a premium, and Sonic 3 was aware of that, and it was willing to, exchange cartridge space and DMA bandwidth for VRAM capacity. Now, in the last part we did free up some VRAM, but not enough. We cannot just load all of the fire shield, all of the water shield, all of the other shield into VRAM. No, we only have enough room to stream them the Sonic 3 way, so we need to bring over all of this Sonic 3 stuff for dynamically loading graphics. Now, this is something we refer to as DPLC, short for Dynamic Pattern Load Queue. If we break it down a bit further, let me just find the files for you in here. If we go to shields, here we go. We have animation scripts, we have DPLCs, we have graphics, and we have mappings. So in the last part, we decompressed these, the graphics. You might have seen in the VRAM viewer that graphics are just little 8x8 squares of tiles, is what we call them. Tiles, graphics. So, what is it that turns these little tiles into a proper image? These, the mappings. The mappings, essentially, it's like a jigsaw. It just puts these little bits together and displays them on the screen. The DPLCs complement the mappings, because the mappings, they're what create frames from tiles. And the DPLCs map directly to the mappings. Each frame in a mapping will have an associated DPLC frame, which specifies what graphics to load from here, how long they are, and where to load them. Now, lucky for us, DPLCs are not like a really deep-rooted feature of Sonic 3's game engine. No, it's just something that kind of tags along for the ride. It's just attached to the object, so if we port the object, we port that DPLC system. It's actually not an alien feature. Sonic 1 uses DPLCs as well, but only for Sonic, because obviously you cannot load his massive, gargantuan sprite set into VRAM entirely. I mean, look at that. 41 kilobytes? The Mega Drive's VRAM was 64 kilobytes, I think. So yeah, good luck loading that. But yeah, Sonic 2 and 3 expanded it to way more things. As you can see, this is just the function. That is all of the DPLC stuff. And as you can see, that might look familiar to you, because if we come out here to here, and here we go. Add to DMA queue is the Sonic 3 name for QDMA transfer. So, we've killed two birds with one stone by porting the DMA queue. Not only is it needed to make the shield, Sonic 1 shield, dynamic, it's needed by the Sonic 3 shields to be dynamic. So, I suppose we can actually start with restoring this feature. As you can see, there are custom SSTs right here, last loaded DPLC, DPLC address, VRAM art, and so on. But as we did with parent earlier, we don't need to have it defined globally for every type of object. No, we can kind of just hack it in and use the scratch RAM of these various objects. They do have spare room in their RAM to fit custom variables. So let's quickly go over what we need. We do need DPLC address, art address, VRAM art, and last loaded DPLC. That's a byte, that's 16-bit, 4-bit, 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 4 bytes, sorry. So we have 4 bytes, 8 bytes, 10 bytes, 11 bytes, which is what, B in hexadecimal, and we use another 2 bytes for parent. So we can all fit this all in scratch RAM, where we have 16 in decimal bytes of RAM to play around with. So this shouldn't be too bad. In fact, while we're here, just to make things less horrifically messy, I suppose we should start defining our little custom SST variables. So we're going to have shield parent here, and that's going to be set to 3E. And we're just going to work backwards. We're going to have DPLC address and so on. Okay, so shield last loaded DPLC equals 3C, I suppose. Yeah, I know it's 8-bit, but here's a quirk of the Mega Drive CPU. You cannot perform a 16-bit or 32-bit operation on an odd address or on an odd offset. You will just make the CPU crash. Newer CPUs allow you to do that kind of thing, but there is a speed penalty. I think it's something to do with the data bus. I'm not sure. Thing is, most people don't notice this. Emulators tend to not care, but the real hardware will, as well as the more accurate emulators out there. So we're just going to avoid doing anything at an odd number, which is why this 8-bit variable isn't 3D, because then we'd be tempted to make this 3B and so on. You get into trouble. It's something to keep in mind, not something that's really taught anywhere. Okay, that ought to do it. The reason we have these little prefixes here is just so we avoid polluting the global namespace. I mean, we are, but, you know, a prefix is a good way of preventing clutter. Even if it's technically there, you know, the chances of us ever having a problem with this is pretty low. It's typical stuff you see in the C language. When C++ programmers start complaining to you about, oh, you don't have namespaces, how do you avoid pollution? With prefixes, smart ass. Anyway. I suppose we'll start to comment these out because we don't have these 3 just yet. We don't have this macro, so we can't have that either. We can keep this though. Alright, here we go. Will that assemble? Seriously? I wasn't expecting that. I mean, if you've seen the last few parts, you know how that kind of thing goes. Okay, we're going to want to put that back. Man, there is so much to do and there's nothing to show off yet because there's just nothing. Okay, let's start with restoring the animation script. If I recall, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't need editing whatsoever. It will just work for us here. So here's the animation script. It's not actually documented at all, but it doesn't really matter. It's a black box to us. We aren't going to be editing the animation. For a quick overview, okay, offset table, this is animation 1, animation 2, this is probably the idle one, this is the one for when you're doing the flame dash. The first variable is a speed, everything after that is a frame of animation. As you can see, it's just animate, animate, animate. We go up to here, that is a command. So I think this one just repeats the animation. I think this one changes it to animation 0, and I think this is just padding. So this shouldn't actually be here at all. So that's end animation, that's change animation. As you can see, it's undocumented, but that is the animation format. It does differ a little between Sonic 1, 2, and 3. They like add or tweak the animation commands. So we're just going to hope that FF and FD have always been what they are in Sonic 3, back even in Sonic 1. As you can see, it was missing its label, so we're just going to add that in ourselves. And yeah, that should be the animation restored. Next up, I suppose, yeah, we want to get this bugger to display, don't we? So we need the art tile, we need the mappings, the DPLCs, and the art. Okay, this one isn't so bad. This right here is, well, it's called a function. It's basically a fancy macro that this assembler, this one right here, AS, supports. They're nice, but Sonic 1 doesn't have it. And it's just a lot of work. You need to define art tiles, and we'll just stick to what Sonic 3 did. What Sonic 1 did, and hardcode it. Or should I say what the Sonic 1 disassembly did and hardcode it? I don't know, it feels like too much effort to document this disassembly when our job here is to just port the shields. Not our job to document the disassembly, despite what Part 1 would have you believe. So here we go, that's what we want. Let's come here to tiles 2 bytes, so it literally just multiplies it by 20. So come here, multiply it by 20. That is the wrong syntax. And again, ignore the broken syntax highlighting. I'm going to want this. Still don't want this. If I recall, this and this are purely visual. It's to do with the game not rendering things that are off screen. So this will communicate to the game, the sprite's yay big, don't render until it's completely off screen. Same thing for height. Sonic 1 and 2 kind of cheat and just assume nothing in the game can possibly be taller than like 32 pixels. In Sonic 3 there are, so it added this variable for you to explicitly define, no, this thing's pretty big, don't not draw it unless it really is off screen. We'd have to worry about that. If there's a problem, we can deal with it later. So now we have the art tile done. We presumably have the DPLC loading done. Only one final thing. Converting the mappings and converting the DPLCs. The art isn't such a problem because it's the same format. You know, it is a Mega Drive. The mappings are different, the DPLCs are different. So let me show you a little something. You might have noticed this folder here from the beginning. Son Maphead. What is Son Maphead? It's a Sonic sprite editor. It's not the best, but it is the one I'm most accustomed to. The only alternative is some JavaScript nightmare called Flex, and I mean, if you want to be cutting edge, go ahead and use it, but I'm not. As you can see, there are different modes, Sonic 1, 2, 3, and depending on which mode you're in, these colours change. I really hope I don't have to explain the Mega Drive's rendering pipeline, but yeah, the Mega Drive can only have 64 colours on screen at once without you doing any really tricky stuff. It's broken down into 4 groups of 16 colours. The first colour is ignored, it's rendered as transparency. So Sonic 1, 2 and 3 have different colours. Sonic 1 and 2, not that different. They added colours for Tails, they got rid of a green and a yellow. Not a green, one of the reds and a yellow. Sonic 3, sorry that's crackers, Sonic 3 reinvented the damn thing. You'll see a consequence of that later, but for now... What am I doing? Sonic 3. Let's get loading. So I'm just going to pop in here and here. This is where all the graphics and stuff are kept. Shields. And we want the art for the fire shield. And there you go. It looks just like VRAM, remember? So now we load mappings. We want map fire shield. And here are the mappings. As you can see, they look wrong because the graphics they need aren't loaded by the... Oh, it's better to just show you. What am I doing? Sprite pattern cues, that's its name for DPLCs, load fire shield, and there we go. These are our fire shield graphics. As you can see, there's, like, it's massive. There's no way we could load this to VRAM all at once. So DPLCs are an absolute must. Now in hindsight, we don't actually need... 1 second. Okay, I'm back. So we don't actually need to convert the DPLCs because, well, this thing right here reads them and we're porting it, so we don't have to worry about that. But we do have to worry about the mappings. Between Sonic 1 and Sonic 3, the format of the mappings changed, and we're not about to port the Sonic 3 mapping format to Sonic 1, we're just not. But this sprite editor makes that easy. So we come to settings, game format, change to Sonic 1. Yeah, the colours are wrong, we'll fix that later. But now if we come to file, save, we can save the mappings again, but this time in Sonic 1's format. So now we don't have to convert it by hand or with a fancy tool. Let's just come to maps, and we're going to type, fire shield dot. Well, I don't really want to do ASM, but I suppose if it matches the disassembly. And there we go. And so we've converted the mappings. For the rest, we're just going to copy them across because, well, they work vanilla. So we want the DPLCs, we're going to stick them... Where do they go? Maybe it's in Ink, Sonic pattern load cues. Oh no, it's in maps. We come down here, Sonic Dynamic GFX Script. That is his DPLC file. So we'll just put that in here as well. Though there might be an issue, let's quickly check. Yeah, here we go, see. That's a little goofy, we'll work with it. Now we're going to want the art, fireshield.bin, back out here, artunc, and there we go. So now we have our files, all 3 I believe. Now we just need to put them in the ROM. Again, let's come back to the main file. As you can see, the game will include mappings after the thing we need, like after the object. So we're just following their example. So let's take map HUD, put it here. That still leaves the DPLCs and the art. So we can now uncomment these, and that just leaves... Yeah, that just leaves us with the art. Let's preemptively uncomment that. So where does the game keep uncompressed art? Artunc. Okay, kind of all over the place, but we can make it work. Okay. Now I think this should assemble, but it won't work. We still have work to do. Okay, we have a ROM. Look how much bigger it is than the original ROMs. All that work we've been doing. Alright, so yeah, one final question mark thing. Okay, in the last part I went over the difference between Sonic 1 objects and Sonic 3. They're genuinely programmed differently. As you can see, the very start of the code looks quite different. There is no offset table, there's no routine counter, there's nothing. Sonic 3 does have the routine counter, but it's basically this vestigial code. Let's quickly go over it. Every object in Sonic 1 is assigned an ID. This is number 38. So 38 will always point to this label, this function, I suppose. So when you want to run different code, you use a routine counter and an offset table. So this will only run once, it'll up the routine counter, and from then on it'll either run this or this, because it's increment down here as well. Sonic 3 don't do that. You come here, and well, they are identified by a number, they're identified by an address. This doesn't have a number. When you want to spawn a fire shield, instead of saying spawn object 38, you say spawn an object that uses this code. Then later on, when the code wants to not run its initialization again, it will change its own pointer to something else. This cannot be backported to Sonic 1 unless you completely reinvented the object identification system. Not worth it. It uses, what, 4 times the RAM that an ID would have? And it just has too many consequences. So we're going to convert the fire shield back to Sonic 1's method of an offset table. So to begin, let's just steal this code. Because the skeleton is still here. We have the init function here, the main function here, and then some extra functions, I believe. Nah, there's... Let's just search like that. Okay, never mind. Here it replaces itself with the insta-shield, which we don't have. So yeah, it just has 2 functions, init and main. So let's give a label to init. Or init, mate. Haha. So here we go, init and main. We're going to need to give this a new name to prevent errors. Let's just call it index. And now, instead of changing the address, we're just going to bump the routine counter. Add Q, which is add quick. It's faster than just a regular addition to the routine counter. And that should do it. Well then, does this... no. Okay, we've converted the code to the old routine system. There is one other thing. Sonic 3 changed the priority variable. You see, in Sonic 1, it is an index, an 8-bit index. It goes from 0 to 7, and it just controls what layer the sprite should go on. Should it go behind everything? Should it go in front of everything? Should it go in front of half of everything? Or 3/8 of everything? And so on. Sonic 3 is an optimization, changed it from an index into a raw offset into the sprite table. So it went 16-bit, but became a fair bit quicker too. Again, we aren't backporting that to Sonic 1, it's too invasive, it uses more RAM on a console in a game that's struggling with RAM as it is. So, we're going to turn it back to the Sonic 1 way. It's simple, change it back to a byte and divide it by hexadecimal 80. So that's 1. I'm just going to go through all the code and restore the priority. I think that's 4. I could be wrong. Okay. And that's it. So now, this code should technically work, but there is still one problem. Remember when I said this is object 38? This doesn't have a number. It's just floating code. So what do? We need to attach it to... I honestly don't recall where it is. Let's just look. Where is shield item ever referenced? There might be something in here like object pointers. Here we go. And here you go. Here's a list of every single object ID. Oh, this is where they keep them. Okay. These really should be in the constants file. Anyway. Yeah. So all we need to do is either find an unused object and replace it, or find an empty object slot, like this one maybe. No, that's an unused object, and replace it. These are unused object slots. As you can see, they don't do anything. In fact, they crash the game because they point at absolutely nothing in particular. So we need to... let's just replace object 7. There's really no... like these are reserved. Sonic 2 uses object 2 for Tails, but who cares? So we're just going to replace object 7. And if we come back down to these, we can see we can use this from now on to reference the fire shield. Though we could be a bit cleverer. Let's just rename it. Fire shield. Done. So now we have the shield object. It's in the game's code, but how do we use it? Well, I believe the answer lies in Sonic 3's monitor code. So if we go to, what was it, give fire? Here, monitor, give file shield. This is status secondary, so we're setting the Sonic has a shield bit, we're setting the Sonic has a fire shield bit, we're removing the other bits for Sonic has like a bubble shield or whatever. We play the fire shield sound. I've absolutely no clue what that is. Oh, right, it's 2-player mode, right. Yeah. And we've set the shield object's code pointer to the code for the fire shield. We also set Sonic as the object's parent. Remember that parent variable? That's what this is. This is shield plus parent. So, in our shield granting code, we need to do the same. Well, not the same thing, but port over most of the logic. Like, this isn't important. We can't do this yet, and so on. We absolutely do not need this. I believe it's 2E. Here we go. So once again, we're going to hack up our code, because we're how many minutes in and we're only doing the fire shield, so I guess this part is the fire shield. So we're going to hard code the monitor to only give you fire shields, and it will grant you the fire shield object. So, let's just I guess we can just dummy out all of this code for now, so let's just, like, I guess if we don't know what the hell that is, that's a return instruction. It will not execute this code. So, let's just copy in the code from Sonic 3 and tweak it as we go along. So we don't need that. We don't quite need that, we handle it differently. As you can see, we just clear the whole variable. We do need to give Sonic a shield, which is done right here. We do need to give Sonic a fire shield, which it kind of does here. What was it called? Status fire shield. I hope that's correct. We cannot play a sound, we don't need this 2-player junk, get rid of it. Now, I don't know if A1 is set to Sonic in Sonic 1. Like, how do we get here again? Honestly, what am I doing? We don't need this parent thing. Because it's Sonic 1, there is only one player. It will always have the same RAM address, and so on. So we don't need that. Let's take a quick trip back here. We don't need parent, that can go away. We can come down here to the parent code. get rid of it. Instead of A2, wow, there is a lot of A2. Okay, well... Wow. There is a lot of it. Okay, let's just convert it to vPlayer Plus and just do that for all of them. Okay, no more A2. Good. Remove that. Remove this junk. Come back here. Okay, so we need to change this. This is the Sonic 1 way of doing it, of course. So instead of ID shield item, ID fire shield. And that is the equivalent of this. So we can get rid of this. We can safely return. And that should be it. If we have done everything correctly, Sonic will get a almost fully visually, well, it should be fully visually functional fire shield. So let's cross our fingers and hope we did a good job. A little louder than I'd like it to be. Alright, so. And of course, because I haven't edited the level, I have to go all the way to that shield monitor. Let's get invincibility while we're at it, just to make sure the VRAM loading stuff is correct. Actually, I can already see a bug coming, but we'll fix that in a bit. It's not that important. Okay. Oh no. Huh. So let's take a peek at VRAM. Oh, for flipping heck. I know what I'm doing wrong. How do I explain this quickly? Okay, this is designed for Sonic 3's DMA-Q, but we're not using Sonic 3's DMA-Q. Oh, come on. This is mean. Alright, look, we need to divide the ROM address by 2. So as you can see, D1 is the address, it's adding the address, it also does an offset calculation, left shift, each shift multiplies it by 2, so we'll do it by 4, thus dividing it by 2. Now it should work. Hopefully. No, don't do that, come on. Let me drag and drop. Yeah, I found the fast forward feature. You proud of me? I don't really feel like I got there any quicker. So, fire shield. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a fire shield. Oh right, yeah, there's still some work to do. Yeah, it's displaying the colours wrong and it doesn't animate, but we'll get there, trust me. Yeah, look at that. So we are definitely making progress. Okay. Now, let's sort out the wacky animations, or should I say the lack thereof. We need to go back to our ability code. There is dummied out or commented out code in there that controls the animations. So, fire shield, here we go. We did not set the fire shield animation. So there is, like, this constant doesn't exist in Sonic 1's disassembly. So we're gonna have to just find the equivalent. Can I scroll past it? Where is it? There we go. Yeah, it's VObject space plus 180. That is the equivalent of shield. So if we do that, the fire shield should animate when we do our double jump ability. Just fast forward already. There you go. No audio, no camera lag, but again, we're going to work out the kinks bit by bit. I suppose the lack of correct colours is a bit distracting. Okay, well, this, I'm going to warn you now, is a bit of a hack, but if you want to correct the colours, there is a quick and easy solution. So we switch to Sonic 3, and as you can see, this is what you want, of course. And it only uses, I believe, I believe only uses white, one of the pink colours, and red. These colours are all present in Sonic 1. So we can convert this without any loss of detail or colour. So we're going to take the background colour, turn it to hot pink. We want a colour that that is visually distinct from anything on this palette LAN here. Because yeah, all of this is only on this LAN. Okay, now the next part, we're going to control... Oh, there's a blank frame at the end. Weird. Now we're not going to do any sprite editing, so just hold Control and delete. We delete all the mapping frames. So now we're just left with a blank, empty sprite. Now we're going to jigsaw together. This is up, down, left, right, by the way. Jigsaw together a big sprite that uses every single tile. Now, yeah, I bet you're wondering what the hell are you doing. You'll see. Man, there are so many tiles in here. Really, I'm not joking when I say you cannot fit this all in VRAM with what limited room we freed up last part. Okay, so I'm going to come in and... Yeah. This garbage is out of bounds, so don't touch it. And there we go, we now have a giant sprite. So what are we going to do with it? Frame, save to image, export sprite frame. And as you can see, it has created paint will do. It has created this image. There is no palette information, no nothing, it's just a proper coloured image. Now if we come to Sonic 1, yeah, you see, because we've edited the palette, the sprite editor has kept it, but we don't want that because Sonic 1 has a different layout. If we like replaced whatever, it doesn't matter. So unload data, unload palette. We're back to Sonic 1. Oh no, it's all corrupt. Well, let's put the pink back. We need that. Now file, load from image, import sprite over active frame. Thing.bmp. And hopefully, without needing to tweak the settings, okay, it's almost correct. But as you can see, look, it's adapted the colours. So, we have a problem, but let's go to settings, image importing, assume corner is background, and that's probably not the best option. Right, let's try that again with that option disabled. There you go! It has imported the sprite and adapted it to Sonic 1's palette. And there should be no loss of detail because the colours are in Sonic 1's palette, just in different locations. So now if we go to save data file, save tile graphics uncompressed, we can now overwrite the fire shield graphics. We can build our ROM, And hopefully you know where this is going. Or I can just get an error, or the ROM can just take forever to appear. Cool. I'm sorry, I can't play at turbo speed. I feel like it would just be quicker to go there normally. So I will warn you, Son Maphead is a little buggy, sometimes it just doesn't save. Also, it's Windows only, there's no source code. It's not the best tool, but it's good for my needs. And would you look at that? An authentic fire shield. No sound, because we'll be dealing with that later, but, well, we have ported the graphics, we have mostly ported the object. So this part will be coming to a close pretty soon, but I think there are a couple of things left to do. We don't need the sprite editor anymore. So we can't do the sound effect, we're not going to do the camera lag yet, that'll be another part. But as you can see, we still have some commented out code down here. So if you go underwater, you should lose the fire shield. It should spawn a fire shield dissipate object. Yeah, we've got another object to port. Don't know if I really want to do that today, but I will see. And if the fire shield is just otherwise... Oh, I see. If it can't actually spawn the dissipate thing, it'll just give you the insta-shield back. Huh. Would you look at that? There's a redundant line of code. It does this, and then it comes here and does it anywhere. Is this called? Ah. Yeah, okay. You know what? This is actually kind of pointless, because if you get hair, I already have it programmed so that you lose your elemental shield. So this line of code and this line of code is pointless. There's no insta-shield, so you don't need to give that to the player. I am curious about one thing. If you get hair and you lose the shield, what happens to the shield object? Is it just left in RAM doing nothing? Technically it will still be updating, won't it? Or is... No, there doesn't appear to be a delete object call in here. What about Sonic 1? What happens when you lose a shield? The Sonic 1 shield. What happens when you lose that shield? Ah, you see? It will delete itself. So, in the event we lose the fire shield... Yeah, we don't need that code, that's a dangling pointer. Not good. Just delete the fire shield. So. And if we go underwater, yeah. Oh, here now, there is one issue. If we go underwater and we lose the shield, we probably should lose the shield. So it clears the shield bit and all the fire shield bits. Okay, I take it back. We do have a little something to do. So we need to clr.b the shield and also clear the shield type variable. We could do that in Destroy Underwater, but just to be sure and to kind of imitate the original code, just to copy an edge case, yeah, we'll clear the shield variables there. So let's go to Labyrinth Zone Act 3, get a fire shield and jump in water. Will the fire shield disappear? Yep, that's the fire shield. And over here is some water. Let's slow the game down. Okay, that might be a little too slow. Right, and let's see what happens. Oh shit. Wow, that was stupid. Of all the places to put an enemy, huh? Let's try that again. Maybe without some annoying badnik getting in the way. I mean, to be fair, you know, you did see what happened. I got hurt. I didn't just lose the shield, I lost my rings, so you can probably tell what happened. But I really want to see it. Oh, come on. Nice bug. Right, so let's avoid that damned fish, and the shield is gone, just like in Sonic 3. Yeah, so that is the Sonic Fire... what am I saying? That is the Fire Shield ported. Yes, we are missing the Fire Shield Dissipate object, and just as a quick aside, let's see, what is it? How complicated is it? So it has... oh. Huh. Okay, this code is undocumented, but I don't think it would be that hard to port. Still, though. Ooh, should I? Should I? It's tempting. Just to get that last extra bit of the Fire Shield done. Okay, fine. Let's make it quick. So this code's undocumented. Let's document it. There are no SST equates, and we cannot leave these we cannot leave these numbers raw because they're different in Sonic 1. The entire purpose of these constants is to provide a name that, depending on the disassembly or the game, will have different numbers. So, obviously C is mappings. I mean, there's a mapping file right there. You have art tile below it. You have render flags below that. You have priority below that. Render width, render height. Yeah, I was right. Mapping frame and mapping timer? 24. Oh, that's mapping frame. Don't know what the hell 24 is then. Oh, animation frame timer. Okay. Man, there's a lot of them. Yeah, it would appear to me that this thing doesn't use an animation script, it manually animates itself. Hey, what am I doing? That was silly. I guess this thing was quickly hacked together for a cheap, quick result. Not to hold it against Sonic Team, I mean, I'm doing the same thing in this series. Okay, code documented, not much work to do. Let's quickly pop that in Sonic 1, shall we? This is gross, I probably should keep it in its own file, but I can't be arsed, it's so minor. Okay, we need to find the explosion mapping file, figure out what its art tile is, and apply them here. The explosion is that thing that appears when you destroy an enemy. It's recycling that, so... let's try and find explosion, huh? I know I could search, but I really don't trust Windows search, it's so bad. I mean, okay, let's humour it. Explosion. Okay, smart ass. So 24, huh? It was right there. That's not what we want. That's what we want. Okay, wait, really? They did not change the VRAM location for the explosion between Sonic 1 and 3. That's quaint. Would have thought they would have. Alright, here we go again. Divide that by 80, I believe that's 5. I hope I'm not wrong. We do not have height pixels in Sonic 1. It just guesses. These need to be changed to their Sonic 1 names. I know that one's display sprite. I think that one's delete object. And I think that one is speed to pause, which is dumb because I'm pretty sure the sprite does not move. But we'll humour it. Just do what, the entire point of porting is we don't question it, we just do what the original did. Unless it's a bug, then we're going to fix it. And we will fix the bugs, trust me. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely speed to pause. What a weird name. Okay, now we just need to do this thing again and convert it from Sonic 3's weird method to the old routine system. This naming scheme is getting ridiculous. Yeah, I'm all for verbose naming schemes, but there is a bit of a limit. Okay. Alright, and again we need to hook it into the... Yeah, I suppose I should. Alright, and give it a different name. Dis. Make it object 6. Alright, let's come back to this code. So we want to spawn a new object, branch if we can't if we can't allocate the RAM. That doesn't need to be a word. There we go. That will set its ID, that will set its X, that will set its Y. So we need the Sonic 1 equivalent of that, and we also need to do this instead. There we go. Right, so... Aha! Here we go. Find free OBJ. This is what we're looking for. I'm sure of it. You know, it is real convenient that I found the slowdown feature in this emulator because... What? Okay, anim frame timer isn't in Sonic 1, question mark? Oh, right, sorry. Yeah, as I said, these are Sonic 2 style. And yeah, that's its Sonic 2 name. Sonic 3 is the one that gives it the timer name. I do think duration is a better name, because it's literally like the number of frames between each animation frame. And of course the branch is too big. 157. Now you may have seen before how I can turn a BSR into a JSR. There's no such thing for a conditional branch, so you have to do some hokey stuff. By the way, if you're curious, a plus is a temporary label. Most people don't like them. I won't recommend using them. Do as I say, not as I do. So have a branch to a jump. It is a horrible workaround, but the CPU just doesn't have a conditional jump. A conditional branch, sure, but branches only go up to a word, not long word, just word. So this is what we have to put up with. Anyway, so let's go back to Labyrinth Zone Act 3. And hopefully you'll actually get to see this fire shield dissipation. Because I've played a fair bit of Sonic 3, and I tell you, I never noticed there's actually... that object. So, fire shield. Nice bug. Okay. Let's pay real close attention to Sonic, or near him. See that? Obscured by the splash graphic is an explosion graphic. A real blink and you miss it kind of thing. But yeah, it's part of Sonic 3 and we ported it. Yep. And so, I believe that is all for now. We've ported the shield object, we've ported the whole lose it when you go underwater thing. We've got the animation, we've got the art. In fact, as a quick demonstration, I want to have a look at the VRAM. I want to see how the fire shield uses VRAM. So this is the same VRAM as before. As you can see, there is a blank line where the fire shield used to be. The stars have loaded, using up a fair bit of the VRAM refreed. There's another invincibility. Okay, I appear to have broken the game. Oh, I just pressed start. I don't remember pressing start, but okay. And yeah, fire shield's working normally. It uses a tiny, well not tiny, but it does use a modest amount of VRAM. The invincibility stars used more because it doesn't stream every frame. So yeah, you know, it is a little gross to look at this VRAM usage. I mean, anyone familiar with like the Dolphin emulator knows streaming data to the GPU is never a good idea. It's too much of a performance bottleneck, but on the Mega Drive, you can get away with it. A bit. So yeah, fire shield. Now I will quickly tell you, there is a bug. I don't know why it didn't occur, or maybe it did occur and that's why the game paused even though I didn't press the flipping start button, I think. You get an invincibility, the invincibility goes away, it will load the shield graphics. But I have a fire shield. Now of course the fire shield overwrote the shield graphics because the fire shield will load its own graphics whenever it needs to display a new frame. But anyway, since we're getting rid of the Sonic 1 shield, let's quickly go back to this. No, not that. The Sonic 1 invincibility, and make it not load the shield when the invincibility stars wear out. Because remember in the last part how I said I really wanted the shield to autonomously load its own art when it needs to? Well, the Sonic 1 shield doesn't, but the Sonic 3 shield does, so we got our wish. So we just remove that, and that is one edge case gone. And okay, one more thing I want to see, because testing is an important part of software engineering, whatever. Let's get a fire shield, then get an invincibility. What will happen? Will the fire shield overwrite the invincibility graphics because of like a frame perfect timing conflict? We'll see. So let's go grab a shield, backtrack, grab an invincibility, and maybe not run face first into a motor bug while we're at it. So, we're about 4 hours into this, and we've got one shield mostly ported. You know, there are still quirks, like no audio, the camera doesn't lag behind when you do the air dash. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's definitely not authentic to the original Fire Shield. Oh dear. Okay, let's not be so careless. I want to finish this video already. You might be wondering why we're leaving the audio till last. It's very complicated. It's no copy-paste job, let me tell you. I mean, there are tools out there that do make it a copy-paste job, but Well, remember how we had to insert the DMAQ? Yeah, that. So, invincibility, go. Okay, the invincibility stars look okay. To be fair, I probably should have slowed the game down and gotten a good look. Like in nice slow motion. Just make sure there wasn't, for a single frame, corruption. Anyway, the invincibility will be wearing off any second now, so... Fuck! Sorry. It's just, damn it. Okay, there's only 3 speeds. I wish I'd known that earlier. Alright, that's the end of the video, with a big old F-bomb. It looks like it works, so... In the next part, we won't be doing audio. We're going to be doing the bubble shield and the elemental shield. The bubble shield will be the easier one, because, like the fire shield, the elemental shield has a second object that we have to port. The bubble shield, I don't believe does. So, I'll see you in the next part.